What is a human? Why did God create humanity? What did God intend for humanity to be like and live like? What does God want from us right now? I alluded to these questions in the second point, but there I focused not on humanity, but on earth and heaven. Heaven-aimed Christianity teaches that God all along never intended humans to remain on the earth. So even if Adam and Eve had not sinned, even if no human ever tainted creation with sin, the eventual goal and resting place of every single never sinning human would be a non-earthly heaven. Heaven would be the place for humans to really be and do what they were made to be and do. Heaven, so it seems according to heaven-aimed Christianity, would be the place humans were ultimately made for, not earth. The idea that heaven is the non-earthly goal which God created humans does not originate in the Bible. It originates with Greek philosophy. This element of Greek philosophy slowly crept into Christianity and became a key element within certain Christian traditions from the 2nd century to the 5th century especially, and its influence still lingers today. The Bible says there will be a new heaven and new earth. This current creation's corruption and curse led Christians to conceptualize a new heaven and new earth as something far different from, rather than similar to, this planet. What you think about heaven and earth determines how you think about humanity and our purpose, and that's why heaven-aimed Christianity distorts our purpose for living. In summary, Heaven Now Christianity teaches that humans were made for the earth, and one day all who follow Christ will inhabit a new earth. Yes, heaven is real. Christians who die right now do go to heaven, but they don't stay there forever. Before we look at the beginning of God's creation of humanity, I want to look at the end. I suspect those in the first centuries of Christianity who imagined an eternal heaven where humans would live did so because they did not interpret Genesis through the lens of Revelation. God taught us the end. His unfolding of the end of time in Revelation helps us see where he was headed all along, starting in Genesis. Revelation says those whom Christ has redeemed will, quote, reign on the earth. Revelation 5:10. Some claim this reigning is now, as Christians, and will cease when the earth is no more. Others claim this reigning is only during the 1,000-year reign when Christ returns physically to rule this earth. His saints will reign with him then. Afterward, they will all return to heaven. In my opinion, neither is fully correct. Both are partially correct. Yes, there is a sense in which Christians now are a kingdom of priests reigning with Christ. Christians are reigning by sharing in his victory, and that victory right now, however, has more to do with our relationship with sin and battle with Satan and gospel proclamation, not with our political power or control. In the future, believers will also reign with Christ for 1,000 years when he returns to establish his political global kingdom. Revelation chapter 20, verse 6. After that reign on this earth, they will not return to heaven and leave heaven or leave the earth forever. After that reign on this earth will be fully renewed so that it is called a new earth. On that new earth, Revelation 22, verse 5, they will reign forever and ever. Because of all those biblical texts and more, I am convinced that an earth is part of our eternal future, and integrated into the fabric of our human identity is the need to be on an earth, to be and to do what we were made to be and do. Fish have gills and use those gills to breathe underwater. They are not made for land. Humans don't have gills, but they have legs. We can't breathe underwater, or we weren't designed to. Similarly, humans are designed to have an earth. Without an earth, we can't ultimately do what we were made to do. And what were we made to do? That question takes us from the end of the Bible in Revelation, that examines the end of time, all the way back to the beginning of the Bible, which looks at the beginning of time, the beginning of human history. Genesis. Genesis provides pregnant ideas that give immense clarity about who we are and why God made us. First, Genesis says that we are made in the image of God. All people. Genesis 1:26. Second, he charged all people to be fruitful and multiply. That was humanity's task. He gave that command to animals and he gave it to people. So multiplying is not special to our humanity compared to other animals. God wanted his creatures on this planet to carry life-generating capabilities. God is the God of life. From him comes life. He creates life and sustains life. He has the power to extend life to others. He modeled that power by giving creatures, including humans, the ability to create life. Third, because humans are in the image of God, he charged them to subdue the earth and have dominion over it. Genesis 1:28. God brings order out of chaos. God manages the creatures he has given life to. Humans model that aspect of God by overseeing the affairs of earth. Fourth, God placed Adam and Eve in his special garden, the Garden of Eden. Eden, by the way, means delights or paradise. And he told them to work the ground and to keep or protect the garden. For the sake of time, I can't go into the ancient Near East background to what's going on here in Genesis 1 and 2, or the profound depth of theology at work in these initial chapters. But I do want to break down what is happening in a good alliterative fashion. God made humans to relate, relish, reflect, rule, and represent. Those 5 reasons. First, relate. God, in his essence, is a personal, loving, self-giving God. We learn that from the doctrine of the Trinity that is more clearly taught in the New Testament than in the Old. The Trinity teaches that there is one God, one divine substance, but there are 3 persons, Father, Son, Spirit. That understanding of God tells us that God is personal, loving, and self-giving in his essence. To contrast him with the God of Islam, who is not the same God, that portrait of God is one person. In essence, he is Master and Lord. He is solo. The truest way to relate to the God of Islam is to submit to him and obey him, regardless if you love him or enjoy him or respect him or adore him or believe him. Just submit. The God of the Bible is not like that. He created you to be in a thriving relationship with him. Yes, he is Lord. Yes, he is Master. But he's more than Master and Lord. Obedience is not the essence of our relationship with him, but flows from that essence, which is trust and love. We relate to him to depend upon his presence, to do life with him, and to follow his guidance. We are to remain near God in an intimate relationship with him. That's how he designed us. And out of that relationship is where I get my second R, relish. God enjoys being with you. He made you to be with him. You can be in the same room with someone and still feel totally absent. That is not the feeling God intends for us to have with him. He made us that we might be fully present with each other and to delight in each other and to enjoy each other's presence. Being in his image, he made you to reflect him. That is his character. You do what God does. Act how God acts. Think like God thinks. God doesn't lie. He doesn't cheat. He doesn't steal. God looks out for others. God encourages and builds up and brings light in darkness. God made humans to have full and varied personalities that find their harmony and unity in their godliness or God-likeness, in their morals, their spirituality, their virtue. Fourth, rule. So we had relate, relish, reflect, rule, which is to manage, to steward, to superintend. God gave humans land and animals. He placed this place under our responsibility. I don't have time to go into more detail about how that relates to creating civilization and culture, but suffice it to say, God did not make us to be passive. He made us to blend industry with insight, to make this place called Earth a better place to live than when we found it. Fifth and last, represent. God made us to represent His presence on the earth. We are His ambassadors. We do His mission. We embrace His vision for this world, which is how He designed us and why He designed us to actually accomplish. We act in His name under His authority to carry out His plans. Now, how does all this compare heaven-aimed Christianity with heaven-now Christianity? In short, heaven-aimed Christianity says God made us ultimately that He might take us to glory, to be with Him in heaven forever. That is glory. Whereas heaven-now Christianity says that God made us in order to bring the glory to the earth. If glory is the full display of God's person and presence and majesty and power and character before others, then God made us as His image bearers to bring His glory to the earth. He gave us an immense privilege. Doing that looks a little different now that sin has come into the world through Adam. But redemption and restoration has come into the world through Christ, and He empowers us to fulfill our identity in God. And that leads me to my next point.